Oh, great job, Logan. And that was a great job on a segment of about understanding how to identify and manage what conflict is, which leads us to our next segment of interpersonal and conflicts. I'm Leonard Brown, and I'll be your host for this segment here. So, what we're getting to is how to respond. We're going to understand responding different ways. Basically, there's only two ways. There's responding constructively and there's responding deconstructively. We're going to take a real quick glance, a look at deconstructive responding. Now, there's a guy, his name is last name Gottman. He came with a theory of stating that if you can recognize these type of behavior patterns that a person is doing in a relationship, chances are their relationship is on the brinks. Chances are their relationship is on its way on the road to being over. The first one he states about the relationship, and excuse my second grade hand of artistic. I wasn't an art major, as you can see, but the first one is setting a tone. Now, when setting a tone, it's really come down to when two people are having a problem to really just be able to speak to each other. Without having a shouting match, as you can see in that picture, then chances are that they're already gotten to a point where they don't want to receive each other, which leads to the next one, which is acting out of defense. And this really comes down to when a person is every time a question comes up, another person responds defensively. It's almost as if every question that another person is speaking to him about is offensive, and so he or she has to feel that they have to defend themselves. The third one is stonewalling. Now, this really just come to a point where you just don't want to deal with the person no more. You don't even want to receive whatever a person is having coming out of their what's on their heart and what's on their mind. And then the next one is contempt. Communication contempt. And this is basically where the communication is starting to die. Now, those are the responding deconstructively to conflict. And it's basically letting your emotions just control all the aspects of what you're doing. Now, the next part that we're going to look at is responding to it, responding constructively to conflict. Now, one of the things I want to point out here in this quick segment is that we want to understand for the audience, I will ask you, is conflict necessary? You've just seen a part of how conflict, responding to it deconstructively, how bad it can be for our relationship. But is it necessary? And could you control your emotions? Could you control how you responded? Should you just allow your emotions to just go forward and just speak for yourself, or could you control how you want to receive or what you want to receive? Which leads to our next segment, which is responding constructive to conflict. We're going to look at the first one. This is the 7 guidelines that obviously is going to help us in our in a interpersonal relationship. Now, the first one would be remain rational. And what we will understand is that when we remain rational about it, then we have some sense of control. Then you try to understand others. Now, in understanding others, you would open your mind basically to it. You try to understand their point of view and their angle, where they're coming from. Then you would maintain open communication. Communication is always key when it comes to a relationship, and you want to be open so you make sure that it continue to go forward. So there's no hard feelings, no underlying tones or anything that you did not leave out. The fourth one would be to be reliable, which is basically allow yourself accessible for that person. Allow yourself to have time to be able to build on their relationship. The fifth one is avoid coercion. And that comes down to basically being open to be persuaded, as well as try to persuade others. You may not agree to what they want, to their point of view, but you are open to their suggestions. The sixth one is separate the person from the issues, which is basically do not associate the issue with the person. And finally, 7 is remain open to others. This comes down to a group setting too as well, that you are open to their ideas as well, and likewise they should be open to you. I hope you enjoyed this segment.